the first ever feature Friday. This is a new feature.
Wait. This is the first ever? I'm on the
First,
first ever?
first ever. We brought in the big guns. Ladies
Man,
and
I love
gentlemen,
it.
meet Justin. Oh, there we go.
Well,
Whoa,
Scotty, thanks for having us or having me on the first ever. I appreciate that.
that's
Excited
amazing.
to have a convo with you.
I am too. So Justin is a friend and Chipp partner who is selling AI, working in the field. And we had this talk internally. It's like, first of all, we just kind of dump videos on YouTube. And it's like, hey, we should actually be a little more proactive and engage with people there. So anyone who is on YouTube, welcome. You can watch live every Friday at this time, 9:30 Central. And we have a chat. So when I look over here, I'm looking at the YouTube chat. So anyone there, feel free to drop in questions, because what we're going to do is real simple. We're going to share one AI tip, one thing in AI that's exciting us right now that we're exploring. Maybe it's something we think's cool or we're just trying to test out. And then one thing that we are building. So for me, that'll be a Chipp feature. For our guests like Justin, that'll be something that they're providing for their clients. So before we get into it though, Justin, tell us who you are, what you're doing. I'm guessing you're in Chicagoland today, but excited to have you introduce yourself to our audience if they haven't met you.
Yeah, awesome. Justin Ahrens, Chief Creative Officer of Rule 29 at the O'Neill Companies. And we have been an early adopter of Chipp for lots of reasons. But the biggest reason is we work in the brand strategy space, and we just saw AI and vibe coding and all the things in that world as something incredibly exciting to offer to our clients, but also to figure out how we can be more effective and efficient in our day to day. So it's been awesome.
Well, you're such an inspiration because you're old school industry bringing new technology. And I think a lot of people we work with I did a session on Tuesday or Wednesday for the North Dakota Communicators Association or something. And I was all excited to like walk them through, here's how you use AI as a tool. Here's how you use it, like with Claude Cowork. And here's how you use it to like get agentic. And about 10 minutes in, I'm like, I'm already going too fast. Like I can see it, So tell us about your industry, first of all, and then how you've made that industry sort of bend or accept this world of AI.
Yeah, it's a big, broad question. I'll try to keep it really simple. So, companies come to us to figure out how to connect to their clients. That can be an internal client. Like, how do we connect our brand more deeply, authentically to our employees? But then also, how do we do that to our clients? So that's everything from as simple as, logo, brand guides, to websites, to, experiences and engagements, from packaging, environmental stuff. And to be honest, and I've shared this with you before, originally I got into it because I was fearful. Like, what is this going to do? I'm not that old, but I'm more on my later back of my career than the early part of my career. And I was just like, I really need to dig into this. And then we had a mutual friend, Victor, who sent us a New Year's card. And on the New Year's card, it was just a little code. And it said, hey, why don't you go ahead and use our AI coach to set your goals or resolutions or something for the year. And this is like 2 years ago. And I thought to myself, there's no way Victor could build an AI experience. There's just no way.
Yeah.
And I had this experience, and I literally called him and I was like, dude, this is amazing. How, who, what? And he goes, you got to meet Scott. And so when we connected, and then I started thinking through, we're a smaller agency, used to be like 20 some people. Now we're 7, 8, 9 people, which isn't nothing, but there's a lot of things that we wear a lot of different hats. So I thought, first, how can I use AI to help us be even more efficient? And then in doing that, I realized there's all these options out there for our clients. And so that's where we show up. I've gotten pushback, I'll tell you one thing that's really interesting. I don't think you and I've talked about this yet, but last year I gave a lot of talks to different groups, about 5 or 6 colleges. And what is incredible to me, and I guess I get it in some ways because they're, entering this world, but the younger college generation are the ones that are most pushing back against AI.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is? What are you hearing?
Well, I'll tell you one class that I had that was, Scott, you'd love this because I know you're also a teacher.
Yeah.
But, one of the things I do, I'm like, who uses AI? And, we talk about it. And so I'm like, all right, what are some of your fears? Because let's be honest, it's not all, unicorns and pixie dust. Like, there's some concern,
Yeah.
And one person was like, well, I don't want it to make me dumber, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to use my agency.
Yeah.
And the other person was like, well, I'm really concerned about the environmental impact, which is, it's just fair, legit, right? There's that. And then all the way to the extreme where I had people, and I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying this to be funny, because at first I was going to laugh, but she was serious, literally was concerned that I was going to take over the world. So,
Yeah.
and then, but all of them said, how is this going to help me get a job? And so I really felt, midway through that last conversation, I was like, wait a second, we're talking about all of the negative
Yeah.
possibilities. Let's talk about what is also the advantage of it, the possibilities in front of you. And I shared with them,
Yeah.
like when the internet came out, everyone thought in our industry, oh, design's going to die. And it created this whole other, sort of ecosystem of jobs, which are being challenged right now. But I think AI is going to do the same thing. And so it was
Yeah.
a really interesting conversation. Sorry, I went on a tangent there,
No,
but
I
that
love
was,
it. I love
yeah.
it. I think it is fascinating. I often tell people that AI is one of the first technologies I've seen where older people are generally better when they get into it, because it's, you have the expertise to ask the right questions, right? Like great
Yeah.
questions give great answers. And if you know who Picasso is, or you know what Georgian architecture is, or you know what, argument is with a thesis, like you can ask for that. Whereas if you're just like, give me a paper, it's going to be really boring, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that's really fascinating and a valid point. I have some hot takes on the fears for sure. I actually think
What's your biggest one?
well, I think the one hot take is the environment thing is actually the opposite. AI is the best thing possible for the environment because it's upgrading our grid on the back of hyperscalers instead of taxpayers. So because there's so much demand for electricity, people like Microsoft and Meta are paying for new power stations. They're paying for power lines. And if AI demand suddenly drops, or this is a bubble and we overbuild, it's like the early 2000s when we overbuilt and had, we had fiber all over the country that we could now give everyone great internet. And like, the best thing that could happen is that we have to build more renewables because we have increased demand and we can't even get more fossil fuels to fuel this. So we need solar, and all of a sudden the price of solar drops, we get better power lines, and like we wake up 10 years from now and we modernize our grid without having to pay any taxes on it. And we probably are net zero at that point anyway. So that's my hot take. I think the fear on ability is legit. Like, I think this happens all the time, right? Like you and I still remember the phone numbers of the 6 boys that lived in my neighborhood that I would call to play baseball, right? And I would call them up every day. And now, can you name anyone's phone number that you met in the last 10 years? Like maybe your wife, maybe
my wife. That's it. I don't even know my kids' numbers.
Yeah. And so it's like,
I just tell the phone to call them.
Yeah, we're going to atrophy for sure. So I think the question is like, does that matter? Or what are the things that we hope we don't atrophy in? So yeah, I'm fascinated. Those are my fears / hot takes.
I thank Pixar for WALL-E, so I can always picture that that's not what I want to be, right? Floating through my chair, having Captain Crunch fed to me or whatever.
Well, the other hot take is like, that's kind of what we already do, right? I think the average American watches 4 to 5 hours of TV a day, right? So it's like, is that dystopian that different than our reality? I don't know.
Yeah.
But well, what we're thinking for
deep there.
We're going deep on a Friday morning. So thank you for everyone here watching live on YouTube. You can ask questions in the chat, but the kind of fun format we were hoping for is to ask our guests to bring one tip and one thing they're curious about. So what's one tip that you're telling people now when they're like, hey, I want to get started with AI, or I want to figure out how to do this for business? Like, what are you telling them to do to get started?
This is one of my favorite parts. We have clients that want to talk to us about AI. There's not one that doesn't want to, but then the conversation stops. And I was trying to figure out, is that IT? Is that fear? Is that governance? Is that structure? Is it training? And it's actually all of those things.
Yeah.
And I found the biggest part is we have organizations that will pay for everyone's separate AI, Gemini, Claude, Cat, whatever. And I said, well, if we create for you a chip that is trained and on your voice, we give it all the parameters, all the governance, all the rules you want, you would actually save money and also create greater consistency throughout your ecosystem. If you have us create a chip HQ or a particular chip for certain functions, And that is starting to really take traction because they want to make sure that I'm finding out that our clients want their employees to use AI, but they don't know how to quote unquote manage it, govern it,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
And so, I was selling solutions for other items which they want, but we just need to get them to adopt it in a way that's really, responsible and, reducing fears as much as possible. And the great thing with Chip is, everything from its control features to security, all that sort of thing. It really can provide all the answers.
That's awesome. Well, didn't prompt you to suggest Chip as a tip, but I love that. I think one tip I have been telling people, I really feel a need for people to move from AI as Google or a tool to
Mhm.
AI as a partner. You
Yep.
know, we know that only like 6% of people are paying for AI, which basically means they're using like a pretty bad model, right? Like
Yeah, that's terrible.
if you're on a free version, you're kind of like 12 months behind and probably limited in how much you can use it. You'll get throttled very quickly. So
Yeah.
first of all, I encourage people, like whatever AI tool you use, whether it's Chip or OpenAI or Anthropic, like probably get the paid version, right? Um, Also, that ensures a little bit more privacy, especially on Anthropic, right?
Yeah. Well, and
But
really just to build on that,
yeah,
I have a couple paid versions
yeah,
because they vary in expertise, right, and
yeah,
value.
yeah.
And so, I'd agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a quasi tip, but like I told people this week in my talk, it's if your company is not ready to buy AI or they're talking about compliance, legal is getting involved, like don't let that slow you down. Like use it personally now, right? Like
Yeah,
get your own personal account, use it on your personal computer. Like don't wait for your company to say it's okay because you can
yeah,
learn so much and then when they're okay with it, you'll be ready to rock. But I think
yeah,
the
that's
tip
a
I've
great
been
tip.
telling leaders, if you're an executive, a head of whatever, is ask AI what's the worst part of this thing? Like what's the weakest part of my
Mm,
argument? How could this be improved? That at least starts moving you from who won the football game or how do I fix my pipe to
right.
getting feedback. So you're starting to basically create a coworker who has critical feedback that maybe your current colleagues would be fearful to give you, or they would sugarcoat it, or they're not available, or you are working by yourself, you don't have colleagues, right? So that'd be my first tip is like
I'll give you 2
move them.
more,
Yeah,
hot
go.
tips.
Hot
You
tips. I
ready?
love it. Hot tips
All right.
Friday.
So, on occasion, we'll get a call and someone will wanna talk right away that I've not met before, and so I
Yeah.
have next to me, an iPad, I'll turn on voice activation, and as I'm researching them, I'll be asking it questions, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And, it's literally, you've said a lot of times Copilot, and I know people get that confused with the Microsoft product, but really as a coworker, Copilot, co-teammate, I
Hmm.
use that to, get ready. And similar to what you shared with leaders, when you're giving a talk, I literally have given a talk to an AI experience and had it give me feedback.
Yeah.
Um, and it's more not from style, but more of like a technical part of feedback if I'm talking about a very specific industry. And it's pretty awesome because I work remote most of the time and I don't have, people around to kind of run things by. And so
Yeah.
it's pretty great. And it
Yeah.
gives you notes and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, give us one thing that you're experimenting with or curious about or just like is on your radar. It doesn't have to be vetted yet, just something that's catching your eye right now in the AI world.
So I'm a little bit late to the game on the vibe coding front, but I've been creating these client experiences.
Yep.
I've been thinking about the simplest thing. Let's take a NPS score, for example, right?
Yep.
People go out, they want to get a rating and understand how they're doing with their clients, and that just feels like really like 1 through 10. Bang.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like an experience that was really really interesting, and so using AI and vibe coding to create an experience that actually would learn your name and give you feedback and celebrate your time, and we can even send them a gift as a thank you. And creating these experiences is becoming really really interesting because in this world today, right, if we're going to send someone an email, wouldn't it be great to send them something that actually provided an experience and maybe even give them something back for their time. And
Yep.
so I'm thinking through every single situation. If I go to a conference, if I go to a talk, if I talk to a client about a certain industry, can I vibe code something? Can I create an AI experience that will create an interaction that gives us information, but also supplies them something in return. And that's really fascinating. That's been dominating my last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's amazing. Love that. One thing I am super interested in working on right now is this a new feature called Claude Bot. It has then changed to the name Moltbot, and then as of yesterday, it's now OpenClaw because they got a cease and desist. Oh yeah, I'm deep, man. I am deep. So OpenClaw, which is what I'll refer to it now, they had a cease and desist, so they had to do some name changing. But this is what Siri should have been, right?
Oh my gosh, I thought this is what Siri was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And it is mind-blowing. So OpenClaw is essentially your personal assistant that controls your computer. Some people say, like, what can it do? It's like, what can you do on a computer, right? Which is like, you can do anything on a computer, right? It can open browsers, look at things, control that. It can look at your files. And what's interesting is it integrates with messaging apps. So I use it on WhatsApp. And the three things I love about it is it's always on. So at any point in time, like, it's just there waiting for me. It's mobile, right? So on my phone, like, I'm doing this in bed a lot. I got kids, right? Bedtime takes forever. And I can just be like, oh, we need to fix the, onboarding flow for people who sign up for this thing. And it has access to my code, right? So it can go look at the code on GitHub. It can look at our linear tickets where we track bugs. It can automatically grab bugs when people report them and start fixing them. But I'll say, look at our code, fix the onboarding, and it has incredible memory. So it's always on, it's mobile, and it has memory.
Okay, I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
Don't forget where you're at.
Yeah.
The thing that you and I have talked about in the past, and we're both excited about, is, can you give it direction? So like when you're sleeping, it could be doing things and looking at things. Okay, exactly. So that's legit working.
Yeah, it's legit working without trigger, right? So I can give it a list of tasks, and it can also take action on a schedule. So every morning at 8 a.m., it gives me a roundup of like who chatted with our Chipp support chat, and what did they ask about, and how do we fix or reach out or whatever. So it literally is like, if you imagine a virtual assistant, I would think about it like that. And so I'm going to make a video on it soon. So if someone's interested, there's a lot of great content on how to set it up and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think what's missing right now in like the explanation is like, how do you actually use it? So for me, that's right now creating code.
Yeah. Do you read the Superhuman AI newsletter?
Yeah. Yep.
So that's where I first heard about it. For those of you who may not be signed up for it, it's a great newsletter. It gives you basically cliff notes of what's going on in the AI world every day. It can be overwhelming, but there's certain sections I kind of skim down to.
Yeah.
And I've been reading about it. And a lot of people were getting like Mac minis and making sure it was installed on that versus their, core hard drive. And so that makes me a little nervous, right? So this is one of those things I've been waiting to see what happens. So
I think it's okay. I think in a month, every model provider will copy this. So it's probably going to go mainstream in different ways. But what's cool is this is an open source project, which is why it's gaining so much traction. And the part that I'm actually most intrigued about, this is mind blowing. This just happened yesterday. Someone created, I'm trying to remember, I think it's called, is it Molt Arena or something like that? But basically it's a place where you can send your agent and it can go talk to other agents. And so it's essentially like a Reddit site, but all of the content is these agents talking to one another. And so you have them starting discussions about, are we real? One of them was like, can I fire my human? And like, they're commenting. And it's really like a peek into this like world of Her from the movie, right?
Yeah.
Where the agents are actually having their own lives.
I mean, that's exciting, but also a little terrifying.
A little terrifying and a little goofy and a little like all the things. So that's exactly why this is not a fully formed idea yet, but I'm watching it and it's really fun. So, all right, Feature Friday, we get to announce features and we get to highlight work you're doing. So tell us something you are doing that people should contact you for. Like, why should I reach out to Justin in the AI world if I want to do something different?
Yeah, so there's really kind of three areas that we're doing a lot of work in. So one is this concept of brand native AI. So it's what I was sharing with you earlier, creating an AI that's trained on your brand, and it experiences, your voice and mission and vision, and it's a trusted place to go, whether it's embedded in your brand guide, on your intranet, all that sort of thing. It's something that is continuing to evolve and grow. The second thing is with the voice command experience. in Chipp, we are creating incredible training AI experiences. So everything from, we have one right now where a car salesman will want to go through training, and there's I didn't even tell you this. I sent this to you
I'm
last night, by the
excited.
way.
Yeah.
There's like 10 personas, but then there's different types of personas that can mix in different sort of it's called insights. It's one of those sort of identifiers of personalities. It actually can mix up personalities on it. We were testing it last night, and it was working amazing. So it could be like, hey, I want to talk to someone about selling a RAV4, and this person, is this kind of insights. And it is mind-blowing on how well it's doing, and the fact that we can continue to monitor it and record it and develop it. That's amazing. And then, really the other thing we're working on is similar to whatever it's called now, Claude, but creating really our own agent that can talk to all of our software and files to really help us from a virtual experience be able to communicate, not miss things, and share that. And so that's something we're continually working on, and it's super exciting. So those areas from training to brand native experiences, to unique projects that you need a strategic solution on, we're very excited about.
Yeah, reach out to Justin in the YouTube chat. I put a link to his keynote as well. He has a great talk he gave in South Carolina for us. So our free feature Friday here at Chipp, we're launching stuff all the time. We don't always do the best job of telling people what we've built. So we want to fix that. So two big announcements here today. One is an event and one is a feature. So if you haven't already seen, we're launching 2 learning cohorts called Agents of Change. One is for technical builders that starts February 11th. This is going to teach you how to use Claude Code, build your Claude Code stack, integrate it with tools. It's going to teach you how to build a custom MCP server, which is kind of like an API, so you can connect your software with other softwares. And then it's going to teach you how to lead technical teams in the age of AI, because I think it's really hard to know, are my developers doing their job? Like, should they be going faster? Are they just like having their Claude bot do the work and they're having a coffee? Like, what should I actually do as a manager? And then I'm going to lead a session in March, starting March 3rd, on AI for business. And we're going to look specifically at sales. So how do you find and scrape leads from the internet? How do you create marketing content? How do you create voice agents that can answer the phone? So you'll build all those plus something that you want to build. So check out Agents of Change. It's going to be a ton of fun. The feature I'm really excited about, and everything's always at chipp.ai/docs, is custom MCP server for Chipp. So an MCP server, Hunter and I actually talked about it earlier this week. And MCP server is kind of like an API, except you tell the AI what it can do instead of telling it exactly how to do it. So it learns and can do whatever actions it wants. We just launched our Chipp MCP server. So you can go to our docs and just search for this. And what you're able to do is basically create, manage, get insights from Chipp via Claude Code. So if you're using a tool like Claude Code to ask questions, even ChatGPT, you can just ask it to connect into Chipp, and then you can ask it, how many people were using my chat this week, upload this file to my chat, add this new prompt to my chat. So essentially you don't have to go through the Chipp UI, click new apps, add, etc. So quick start guide here, you can start to use Chipp. And I think we're going to see more and more people signing up for Chipp and using Chipp without even going to chipp.ai, right? Like they'll just do it within their Claude or their
awesome.
ChatGPT. So really excited to kind of see what happens with that, how people use it. We had someone yesterday already write that they had a bug that they were waiting for us to fix, and they went into the MCP and fixed it themselves. So that's exactly what we want.
Wow.
Is give the users the power to really modify stuff on their own instances without having to go through us. So there we go. What do we think, Justin? That was our first ever Feature Friday. We hit a lot. That was a lot more than I expected.
This is great. I love the fact that you all are committed to community, and that's fantastic. And also the fact that we can just talk about things, and you're constantly working on items. Like I always giggle when I go back to Chipp and I see like the UX UI improved or new,
oh my gosh,
or new attributes. So it's really exciting. So I love it.
Lots going on. We'll try to do this every Friday with a different guest. And we have all of our events now live at chipp.ai/events, creatively named. So that's probably the best place. I'll start adding these live streams on there because we'd love to have people, put it on your calendar, come join us, add comments in the chat, and we'll we'll chop it up with our Chippsters. So Justin, I'll let you get on with your Friday. So great to chat and have you as a Chipp user, and I love seeing what you build. So
yeah, and hey, I have to say, I got to shout out your scarf. It's amazing.
When it's a high of 0 degrees, you gotta wool it up. So I got my wool sweater, my wool scarf, and we're founder moding. So
I love
ready to build.
All right, man.
I'll let you get to it, Justin. Thanks for taking time. Good to see you.
Thanks.